Yo, it's all about realness. Ain't no time to dim that light. We were made to shine, so let's go.
Oh, I gotta let it shine. No more dimming what's divine. I was born to be this way. Ain't no mask, no role to play.
Are your emotions running your life? In this episode, we'll discover how mastering them can empower our journey to conscious creation. I want to welcome you to the Blustrophecy. I'm your host, Truth J. Blue, and this is where I share my philosophy on divine alignment and authentic living, helping you step into your resonance with your true essence, liberating you from illusions, and guiding you into transformational and intentional living. The key to honoring your emotional body without being ruled by it, I say you must acknowledge and validate your emotions while also recognizing that they don't define who you are and they don't dictate your actions. I always say that emotions are good, they're just not good for decision making. So you have to practice pausing, taking a breath, and asking yourself, what is it that is causing you to feel like this? Why do you feel this way? What's going on inside of you that appears or that is causing a sense of urgency to make you want to act in a certain way? See, it's important that we understand there's a difference between responding and reacting. So reacting is when we allow our subconscious or our habit or our habitual ways of being to cause or to control our behavior, rather than in every situation being present in that moment and analyzing what's going on, what's being said, what's happening, and taking it in for yourself and deciding how you're going to respond in this event. If you feel some type of emotional response, analyze yourself by asking yourself the question of why you feel like that. And that will help you in gaining control over your emotional body, which is really there to help us. But we must understand that we have to act rationally and controlled, especially during this time of transformation where you have old habits that have not been replaced with the new, more empowering, more productive habits. So, being a conscious creator of your life, it means taking responsibility for your thoughts, for your emotions, for your actions, being accountable. See, we must order our lives in the way that we choose, because whether we like it or not, the life that we're living right now is the manifestation of our previous thoughts and words and actions. And that's how we get here. Whether you're experiencing and living out the life that you wanted to live doesn't really have any effect on your if you're living the life that you created for yourself. See, accepting responsibility for the life that we live and the life that we create is meaningful, powerful, and empowering. But for some, it could cause us to not want to take accountability and responsibility because we don't like the situation in which we find ourselves. So what happens is we tend to make scapegoats for ourselves, find somebody else to blame, make ourselves out to be the victim, even if it's not consciously, but subconsciously. Even if we blame some aspect of ourselves, and then that we tie that to something that someone did or didn't do, and we end up having all of these false beliefs that they weaken us and they deplete us of our energy. See, growing and transforming is not for the faint of heart. It's not at all. There's so much work that it takes for one to dissolve the ego and to make the subconscious conscious. But the reward of living a life of purpose and fulfillment is worth all of the effort. Either I am thinking these empowering thoughts that serve as encouragement. You can think loving thoughts that nurture the soul, or you could think transformative thoughts that enhance growth and potential. See, the difficulty of doing this and practicing thinking this way, it far outweighs the ease of me saying it. And I never want to act as it's easy when I present it in a simple list form. But we can be intentional about it and do the work necessary, because if we don't do the work necessary to think the proper thoughts to empower and nurture us and help us through this growth process, then the work against it, which is causing the drainage, that doesn't take much effort on our part. It doesn't take much effort for negative thoughts or no thoughts to cause fatigue or depletion or exhaustion. I mean, it's been my personal experience that one deflating thought can consume an entire day. But I know for a fact that can consume multiple days, months, years, even an entire lifetime if one chooses to underestimate the power of their constant negativity and how it can impact their mental and physical well-being, and how it overall can destroy their lives or keep them in this negative cycle of getting exactly what it is that we create for ourselves. It reminds me of this thing that when I was looking at habits and things that people are addicted to, I remember realizing that people that live really negative, quote unquote, lifestyles or high stress lifestyles, let's say that, a high stress lifestyle, they're addicted to cortisol, most of them or many of them. And these people, I identify them amongst many different ways, but one of the specific ways is if going to nightclubs. If you go to a nightclub, think about it. It's a dark place full of strangers with loud music and a lot of erratic behavior. Whether you're consciously aware that it's a high stress environment, it is. And what I found through, not through a intense study, but just through observation, that people who tend to go to nightclubs every single week also have very negative relationships and a lot of stress in their relationships and a lot of stress in other aspects of their life, not realizing that they're causing it because their body craves it. And so when you crave that stress response, breaking this habit, breaking this addiction to cortisol, it definitely requires much work. And so we have to examine ourselves to begin to think in an empowering, loving, transformative way that helps us to and change the cycles of life that we're in. I hope that this makes sense to you, because it's changing our habits to more productive ones is worth it, but I never want to try to present this information as it's something that's easy, Right now, where we are in this process is me answering questions and allowing you to see the types of questions that one must ask themselves in order to experience radical transformational change. Because self awareness and identifying why we have certain emotions and why we act in certain ways and why we do the things that we do, all of this requires much work, much time, but all of the time invested and all of the work that you spend in developing yourself and molding yourself and transforming yourself into the most authentic self you can be and ascending into your divine self, what I call divine alignment. So we have the possibility or the capability of impacting our health, both our mentally and our physical well-being. So it's just take thought when you find yourself wrapped up in a negative cycle of thinking or these depleting or exhausting thoughts, and replace them with positive, empowering, nurturing and loving thoughts. A radical self acceptance. What would it look like for me? I guess when I think about it, I see and experience much travel in my life, and I'm doing a lot of traveling and doing a lot of meetings and speaking engagements and having an impact on many people. I see myself traveling as a leader, as an educator, maybe even as a preacher, just inspiring people to embrace their true selves and to learn to live authentically. See, we're living in an artificial reality time, and people have AI in their hands, on their phones, and it's easy to fall into a embracing of allowing it to do the thinking for them. And if someone doesn't stop the transhuman movement, our children and our grandchildren will, I guess, be cyborgs for lack of better terms. I'll find a better way to define it later. But I mean, I see myself embracing the most authentic version of myself as teaching my philosophy of divine alignment and authentic living and empowering people and to discover, define, and align with their true self and then with their purpose, living the reason why they were put here, actually going in and finding out their natural talents, their natural abilities, their passions, and seeing where they align and serving the world with the kindness and love and humanitarian needs and goals that are within each of us, learning to love being ourselves and stop judging ourselves and stop denying ourselves of the opportunity to be who we were created to be. So I guess that for me, self-acceptance leads me back to the growth by choice, the movement, and leading, inspire, build, motivate, reaching and empowering young and emerging adults to embrace their divine purpose. I mean, it's what I'm called to do. But one thing I honestly learned, I wish someone would have told me when we were decided that we were going to start a nonprofit. I wish someone would have told me that you need to make sure that you have the financial backing to be able to support this over a long period of time, and you have a sustainability plan, because it takes a lot of money to be able to do the types of things that we wanted to do with the nonprofit. If we looked at the budget just to break even, we needed $600,000 a year to be able to run and be able to do those things. But I know that I'm called to do these things. I know that I'm it's in me to empower and to help people to align with their purpose and to live an aligned and awakened life and to embrace everything that is in them and everything that they were created to do. And for me to seek the creator's highest intention in my life, learning to be present in the moment and not dictated by circumstances or situations, because there's so many ways that we fall into these traps, and it's important for us to be aware of who we are and then accept who we are so that we can experience the breakthroughs that are already waiting for us. Simplification, it requires three main things. I would say it requires elimination of the unnecessary, focus on the necessary, and intentional action. So, when we think about the elimination of the unnecessary, we first have to determine what things are necessary and unnecessary, what things are important, unimportant. Stephen Covey has a really good method on that. I'm not going to get deep into methodology, just really trying to answer these questions so that we can have an example of how to go through the transformation process and how to identify the necessary and unnecessary. We have to ask ourselves the difficult questions and begin to eliminate the things that don't help us get to where we're going. That anything that we can pass off to delegate to someone else, then we want to practice the delegation. And then as we get free up our time and focus more of our energy and time into the things that are important. So you want to eliminate the unimportant. You want to focus on the important. You want to focus on the thing that you're trying to accomplish, the thing that you're working towards. Make sure that you're thinking about it in the morning, continually reminding yourself throughout the day and reminding yourself at night what it is that you're doing. You have to focus, and this focus requires time. But the more that you focus, the less you will have to eliminate, because those things will eliminate themselves. Action is always the thing that you want to make sure that you're doing. So the thing that you're thinking about, the thing that you're working on, you want to make sure that you're taking action, at least one action step every day. If you take at least one action step every day towards your desired goal, towards your desired outcome, I can all but guarantee that you will accomplish exactly what it is that you're trying to do, or that you plan to do, or that you want to do. See, the key to everything it is that I share and teach here on the Blustrophecy is that it always entails three fundamental principles. That's that you should make a plan, execute the plan, and adjust the plan as needed. And if you don't take any action, then you'll just remain in your current situation. It's just what it is. Either you're going to take action, you're going to demonstrate your faith, demonstrate your belief, you're going to put movement, develop the momentum necessary to create the desired change, to manifest the life that you want. I know a lot of people like to think that it has to do with thinking. Yes, thinking is about 90% of it, but the 10% action is necessary. It's absolutely necessary that you take action. Honestly, recently I can't say that I underestimate my own power that much. I honestly shock myself on a regular basis. I actually enjoy watching these broadcasts that I present. I enjoy it almost as much as I enjoy making them. I see that I'm powerful. I know it. And that's why I do this. I do it so that I can tell you that you are a powerful, creative, spiritual being with infinite potential. See, the Blustrophecy hasn't even really gotten underway yet. We haven't even gotten into the introductory lessons yet. Right now, what we're doing is me developing the character, setting the stage for the ultimate battle for the the children of light to take on the rulers of darkness. See, each day it's approximated that we experience over 6,000 thoughts. And of your 6,000 thoughts yesterday, how many of them were empowering, loving, transformative? What about so far today? It's 7:52 here on the East Coast. I mean, how many of your thoughts have been loving, empowering, transformative? See, the thing is that we have the power to control our thoughts, and we choose how we react to the world around us. And constantly, whether we observe it or are aware of it or not, we are co-creating the reality that we are experiencing in the present and the reality that we are manifesting. So this is a continual process that is created by our dominant thoughts, fueled by emotion, and our words that we speak with that emotion, that we believe. See, we're in so much control, but if we don't take control and begin to think intentionally and to make a decision about the life that we want to create, then we'll go on through life allowing life to happen to us instead of us happening to life. And it's just not the way that it's supposed to be. You were created with a purpose. You are a powerful, creative, spiritual being. You have the ability to do whatever it is and experience whatever it is that you want to. There are things that you can't even imagine that you can do. And I know this to be absolutely true. And I'm here sharing it with you because I want you to see it for yourself and experience it for yourself. Because the love that I have for you, there's no possible way for me to say it in words, but I could definitely attempt to live it out in a way that demonstrates to you in service and in practice. Practicing gratitude for who I'm becoming, it requires that I'm conscious and aware of the transformation that I'm experiencing. The way that I practice it is when I read my affirmations, I envision ripples of gratitude and acceptance and power fluctuating in and out of me. And I can feel it. I can feel the gratitude and the joy and the love. And I feel the power going out and it going out into the endless realms. And I feel myself being filled. So the practice of it is me finding ways to be grateful for different experiences that I go through my day, especially my affirmations. But I find ways when I'm playing with my dogs or when I'm just looking out my back window or whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm finding reasons to be grateful because by doing this, I find ways to embody more gratitude for who I am, which empowers the person that I'm becoming. See, while I'm transforming into the best version of myself, I am grateful for who I am and who I'm becoming, and grateful for all of the experiences that I'm having and the ones that I know that I'm about to have, the ones that I'm creating. See, this is a practice that you can pick up and you can begin to do right now as soon as this video ends. Matter of fact, you could be thankful for this video. Begin to experience gratitude for someone being and showing you what it looks like to live authentically so that you have the opportunity to begin to do it in your own life. See, you can learn to be thankful for every lesson. See, and you can search out meaning in every moment. I went deeper into this topic in one of the previous videos. Make sure that you go back and watch the videos 1 through 5 and scan through the questions, choose which ones you want to hear me answer and to show you the practices behind the answers and the question and be able to find the encouragement that you need to find your resonant frequency so that you can align with your divine energy and become more authentic in your everyday life. See, the whole thing is that from something that I share, that you receive more insight on that divine and authentic ways of being. I believe that if you go back and watch them, that you'll be amazed how much that you can learn and grow from me sharing these experiences with you and us sharing them together. I want you to remember that you hold the power to shape your emotional landscape and reality. I want you to practice gratitude, simplify intentionality, and embrace radical self acceptance. Because by constantly seeking personal growth and understanding, we can cultivate a more fulfilling, purposeful life. It's important to remember that we are in control of our own happiness and well being. See, we have to take the time to reflect on our experiences and learn from them and continue to strive towards becoming the best version of ourselves. I want you to embrace the journey and trust in your ability to create the life that you desire. And as always, I want you to stay aligned, stay awakened, and stay elevated. I want to thank you for sharing this experience with me. Remember, this is the Blustrophecy, and I'm Blue, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.
No more lies, higher purpose, higher way, living truth like every day.